Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Jawahir al-Quran al-Durrah, the Jews of the Quran spells. Still reading from Surah Safat, and in the last session we dealt with the verses that about Prophet Moses and Prophet Aaron. We spoke a little bit about the story of the Pharaoh, and in this session, inshallah, we'll move on and read about Ilyas alayhi salam, the Elijah. Wallahu alam, it's the same. And we shall read أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإن إلياس لمن المرسلين, and Ilyas, Elijah, was indeed one of the messengers. إذ قال لقومه ألا تتقون. Remember when he said to his people, will you not fear Allah? Will you not fear? And of course, fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because they were polytheists, they were idol worshippers, and in specific, it was Baal. أتدعون بعلا وتذرون أحسن الخالقين. Do you call upon the idol of Baal and abandon the best of creators? Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah, we'll read and go back into some details. Allah Rabbakum wa Rabb Abaikum al-Awwalin. Allah, your Lord, and the Lord of your forefathers. فكذبوه فإنهم لمحضرون. But they rejected him, so they will certainly be brought for punishment. إلا عباد الله المخلصين. And this has been mentioned before. The chosen servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وتركنا عليه في الآخرين. We blessed him. Again, among later generations, we blessed him with honorable mention. سلام على إلياسين. It has been translated as peace be upon Ilyas. إنك كذلك نزل المحسنين. Indeed, this is how we reward the good doers. إنه من عبادنا المؤمنين. He was truly one of our faithful servants. And then that's where here it ends, before moving to the story of Lot alayhi salam. All the prophets, we mentioned this before, that they called their people to the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the worship of God. And in this case, we have a specific idol, and it is Baal. And Baal was an idol worshipped in this region. Canaanites, one of the Canaanites gods, and Baal was worshipped as we talk about pagan, one of the pagan gods. And Baal was associated with fertility. First of all, the etymology of the word Baal, and it's a Semitic word meaning Lord or Master or even husband. And it is used, they do exist both in the word itself. Baal exists in Arabic and in Hebrew. It is, I would say, it is more used in Hebrew than in Arabic. In Arabic, usually zawj, a spouse. and it's more about pairing. The Quran uses Baal when the good omen, the good news came to Sarah about becoming pregnant at an old age. In the Quran, she exclaimed, "Woe to me, ya waylata, أألد وأنا عجوز?" Do I give birth as an old woman? وهذا بعلي شيخا. And this, referring to Sayyidina Ibrahim, to Prophet Abraham, peace upon him, my husband, Ba'ali, Ba'ali, my Ba'al. So yes, it is used, but it's very rare for, in fact, it's not only very rare, in popular use, you don't hear it. In common use, really. Not in our region, I would say. So that's on the level of, and Baal is also used um, in Hebrew as owner of something. The in Canaanite mythology, in the original mythology, it is the Baal is associated uh, with fertility, but this also led to, it seems, to festivals and practices. So there are references to Baal temple, what is described as a temple prostitution, um orgies. So this was part of the culture. And in fact, today we mention there's a city in Lebanon, because you talk about Phoenician, you talk about Canaanites. The Phoenicians, they also worship Baal. There's a city called Baalbek, and people forgot that this is named after Baal, the idol. And this was yeah, there was a contention between, and amongst the children of Israel, between Yahwism and the worship of Baal. And yes, there were uh, those who amongst the children of Israel who did worship Baal. And in fact, it seems that there's a mention of Prophet Elijah, confronting King Ahab. That's at least part of the story, and almost. So when you're speaking in Elias is probably also one form that is used in Greek. So it's the same like Elijah. I think there's not many people distinguish between both. The Mormons, the Church of Latter Saints, distinguishes between Elias and Elijah, the two different persons, but that's about it. So there were those amongst, especially in the northern part of historical Palestine. It seems that they have worshipped Baal. Um but after the uh, after the exile to Babylon, it seems that there was a movement amongst the children of Israel to purge their culture from the worship of Baal and paganism. So Elias, peace upon him, was a prophet who asked his people to stop worshipping Baal and to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it came like a question: أتدعون بعلا وتذرون أحسن الخالقين? Do you call upon the idol of Baal, the Baal, and abandon the best of creators? That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah rabbakum wa rabba abaikum al-awwalin. Allah, your Lord and the Lord of your forefathers. And the children of Israel, when they crossed the sea, that body of water, um, with Prophet Moses, the moment they were on the other side, they came across people who worshipped idols, and they asked him to. They wanted idols. They wanted literally Prophet Moses to establish for them idols like those people whom they have passed by. There was some kind of assimilation in the land of Canaan, and this is why some of them worshipped Baal. In fact, the story of the Samiri in the Qur'an, who created the idol in the shape of a golden calf, um, allowing the wind to go through the golden calf and mimic uh, the sound of uh, of cows um, of calves. This was when the Prophet Moses went to meet with his Lord, and when he came back, Prophet Moses, he destroyed it. He destroyed but the said he burnt it, and he just threw it in the water, uh, as if basically they drank. It's like one can think of it as a metaphor also, that the uh, the golden calf had occupied a part of their psyche, those who worship the golden calf. But his people, Prophet Elias, Elijah, they rejected him. They rejected that call for monotheism. So they will certainly be brought ultimately for punishment, except those who truly were servants of Allah. And his story, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him. We blessed him with honorable mention among later generations. Salamun ala Ilyasin. You can detect the while it is written. It is written as two words, Ilyasin, Ilyas. Peace be upon Ilyas. Wallah subhanahu wa ta'ala a'la wa alam. Inna kadhalika najzi al-muhsinin. Indeed, this is how we reward the good doers. He was he was truly one of our faithful servants. And now the narrative shifts. So Ilyasin, it's just like there's there were Arab dialects. I think it's very important to explain Ilyasin in these terms. Different Arabic. The Prophet ﷺ even was kind to one of those Arabs who came to him and spoke with him using his own dialect. The Prophet ﷺ responded by using the same dialect. هل من مدر من صيام سفر. That's one dialect. Another dialect, the dialect of the tribe of Bani Asad. They would have a ya noon. So rather than Ismail, it becomes Isma'in. Ilyas becomes Ilyasin. mind you, in Andalusia, the names, the waw noon were added at the end of the name, so Zaid becomes Zaidun. It might be the source of the word Don um, in Spanish. Wallah subhanahu wa ta'ala a'la wa alam. The same thing applies to the names of the angels. So Mikael and Mikael also could be called Mikain. Israel, uh, that's Jacob. Israel. Tur Sina, Tur Sinin. I think this is important too. And it has been mentioned also that the Salamun al Yasin connected together. This is the recitation of Ibn Mas'ud as narrated by Ibn Kathir in his tafsir. There were those who interpreted Al Yasin, meaning Al Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a'la wa alam. The next story, the story of Lut alayhi salam. وإن لوطا لمن المرسلين. And Lot was indeed one of the messengers. إذ نجيناه وأهله أجمعين. Remember when we delivered him and all of his family. One should not stop here because there's an exemption here, except an old woman إلا عجوزا في الغابرين, who was one of the doomed. This woman was his wife, and I think it's very important to explain why she was amongst the doomed as much as possible, inshallah. ثم دمرنا الآخرين, then we utterly destroyed the rest. وإنكم لتمرون عليهم مصبحين وإنكم لتمرون عليهم مصبحين. You, it could be addressing the Meccans, would certainly pass by their ruins day and night. وبالليل أفلا تعقلون. Will you not then understand? Maybe like in there, when we talk about the Quran mentions the two journeys, two major the caravans that went north and south Yemen and north to Sham, which liberally speaking is greater Syria, and the Sham includes Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, and Palestine. So they would pass by their Wallahu alam, the Sodom and Gomorrah, using the biblical names of these two communities, were on the eastern shores of the Dead Sea. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a'la wa alam. Now, in this context here, because we have other contexts where the story of Sayyidina Lut alayhi salam, and we did deal with this before. In this context, we have his wife being singled out in a different context, obviously straightforward. Prophet Lut alayhi salam admonishes his own people that they basically have homosexual relations with men and avoiding women. It's a straightforward thing, and I'm saying it's straightforward because there were those who obviously who say that was a problem of hospitality. And since when God basically punishes people by a general punishment simply because they lack hospitality? That's not hospitality. It's immoral, immoral, grave sin. Because if you take the argument to its all the way, if all people subscribe to this way of life, that's the end of humanity. Literally, it's the end of humanity. Already, many European countries do not reproduce their own people, not because of homosexuality. It could be a factor, uh, but it's simply it's a way of life that highlights entertainment, enjoyment, fun. Even when they get married in a heterosexual marriage, having children is not really a priority. They don't see it. Some people might think of it as also a burden. They delay also because of professional, careers and what have you. Talk about the women, and once they find themselves already, they have passed the 40 years age mark. Uh, there's a problem with fertility. At any rate, his wife is very important in this context because why she was included amongst those who were doomed. Obviously, the interpretation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alam, is that she approved her people's behavior. She had no problem with them. She was not amongst the faithful. She was not amongst those who advocate righteousness. She was not in support even of her own husband, who's a prophet, and she was doomed. And this means that those who are members of parliament, Congress, Senate, any body, legislative as they call it, uh, if you support if you support in any way the same-sex marriage, for example, you are, even if you don't practice it yourself, uh, you are in the same position like the wife of Lut alayhi salam. And I remember one of the Muslim community activists in the New York area. She was addressing a graduating class, and though she was wearing a hijab, she was quote unquote inclusive, to include the the LGBT Q whatever plus, and of course these now one cannot even enumerate all these types of sexualities. So she included them. Did she have to? No. Does it run against the Islamic worldview? Yes, but it's the pressure. It's just like if you if you remember the Prime Minister of Scotland before, while he was running for office, he was asked by a TV anchor about his position vis-a-vis same-sex marriage and what have you, and he was supportive, though he is a Muslim, and but he was supportive. That's a very high price that a Muslim pays if is going to accommodate. What's the difference? You accommodate the sinners in this case, and the gamblers and the alcoholic drinkers and the uh, drug consumers and the gynecologists who perform abortion for cosmetic reasons. As the list is very long. If you would like to be a public servant, if you'd like to be a politician, and just be courageous enough to and be sincere enough, be true to your own faith. The next story is that of Jonah, Sayyidina Yunus alayhi salam, Prophet Jonah. And inshallah we will deal with it in the next session. Until then, subhanakallah wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.